Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask the panel, the 13 complaints out of 12,000 students, that's a 0.1% complaint rate. 0.1%. I'd like to broaden the discussion a little bit for any and all of you. Why do you think service members choose to attend universities or participate in universities like the University of Phoenix? There's a lot of discussion, and I've seen it in the halls of Congress about, for-profit universities. Do you believe that our servicemen and women want to attend universities like this because of aggressive or predatory marketing, or is it more, as Ms. Bildu, you've been quoted as saying, because of the convenience of its online classes, which allow service members to continue their studies when they're deployed or in a new location or on Navy ships? What is it? Why do you think so many of our servicemen and women do this?
Senator, I think that servicemen and women participate in these programs because they want to better themselves. They want the education they can get out of them. They want the opportunity for advancement both within the service and once they leave the service. I think that's the overwhelming reason why service members participate. What we need to do as a department is to make sure that when they participate, they're getting a quality product, so they're getting what they hope to get and what they aspire to get when they enter the program.
Well, in my experience, it's because of the convenience, but also because our servicemen and women want to better themselves. I was deployed on a U.S. Navy ship many years ago, and a lot of the service members there were taking classes from a university called the Central Texas College, and they were doing it because you can't go to class when you're on a ship somewhere in the South China Sea, but you want to better themselves. So I just think that a lot of the focus has been on this predatory aspect of we certainly don't want abuse, but we also want to make sure that the servicemen and women who want to better themselves have that opportunity. It seems to me that universities like the University of Phoenix or others who are trying to provide that, we want to encourage that.
Senator, we agree with you. I think that more than 80% of the education that goes through our voluntary education program is online training. So that is the predominant mechanism, because obviously that's what works for service members who are as mobile as they are and have the demands that they do in their professional life.
So what would happen to the 12,000 members who are participating in University of Phoenix programs if that program were permanently terminated? What would happen to those men and women who are serving or who are participating in that?
Well, sir, first, when we put the University of Phoenix on probation, we did make it very plain to them. One, the mere fact that the University of Phoenix was on probation did not prohibit service members from enrolling in Phoenix classes. It was simply that we were not going to use tuition assistance to subsidize their attendance. Furthermore, all students who were already enrolled in Phoenix academic programs would be allowed to continue to receive instruction. It was called what we call teaching out. And so Phoenix would be permitted to continue to teach, to continue to instruct all of the students that were currently enrolled through the end of their academic programs. The two constraints on Phoenix during the period of probation were that they could not enroll under tuition assistance, new service members, and two, that their ability to access bases was further limited, such that only if they were actually coming on post to teach a class or to provide counseling to a student would they be authorized to access the base. Those were the two results of the probationary decision.
Right, but you didn't answer my question, which was if there was a DOD decision to permanently terminate, what would happen to the students?
So that's hypothetical, but I think that we could have presumably provided the same kind of phase out that we provided with the ability to teach out so that you could continue to instruct current students. We have had the problem, and some of it may be on us for putting people on, for terminating people, but also because we have had the problem of companies that have gone out of business and left our students in the lurch. Some of that is on them. Some of them may be on us. I can't tell you for sure. But we have had that problem, and students have been left in the lurch. That's one of the things that we see a need to try to protect our students from, frankly.
I just want to echo the point that Senator Tillis made. about overregulation. For me, I think that the executive branch has been overregulating whole swaths of the U.S. economy, university, to include universities. At what point, is there a point where is there such thing as too much regulation with regard to our educational system? And have we reached that point with regard to the tuition assistance program? And if we haven't, what is that point? And I'm asking that again because, my initial question was about access. I believe that our military members are accessing these kind of programs, not because of predatory practices, but because they want them, because they need them. At what point are we overregulating this program to the degree that we're harming the people it's supposed to benefit?
So, Senator, first, I agree with you that we always need to look at what we're doing in terms of regulation and figure out if there are more streamlined and less burdensome ways that we can do things. What I would say, though, is that this program is different from where we're regulating the private sector as such, because this is a case where we're spending the taxpayers' dollars. It's our students, our dollars, so we have a more direct interest than if we're just out there regulating somebody who's operating purely in the private sector. Just as when we're dealing with contractors, we need to figure out mechanisms that we can put in place so that we ensure the taxpayers' money is well spent. We need to do that here. So we have a little bit more of an interest than we do when it's a pure regulation of the private sector. Even having said that, you're right. We need to look at ourselves and make sure we're not over-regulating.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.